Ranil Wickremesinghe has been sworn in as the new president of Sri Lanka. He took his oath of office before the Chief Justice at the Parliament in the capital of Colombo. He was the acting president and prime minister after former president Gotabaya Rajapaksa resigned last week. According to the country's constitution, Wickremesinghe's presidency will last for the remainder of Rajapaksa's term. Earlier this month, protesters stormed the residences of both the president and prime minister as the economic crisis worsened. Well, CGTN's Ravinda Bauer has been following developments for us in Sri Lanka. She joins us now live from Colombo. Ravinda, what more can you tell us about the new president, the new government of Sri Lanka?
Well, after inspecting a guard of honor, the president of Sri Lanka entered the parliament to take oath. After he took oath, a major responsibility now is on his shoulders and his government's shoulders to bring this country out of this present crisis. And that means that immediately he has to appoint a prime minister. Only then will a full team of cabinet ministers will be formed, and then we will have some kind of political stability, a team of lawmakers together to take this country out of this crisis. Already the country is facing major shortages of food, fuel and medicines, and apart from that there is a runaway inflation, and the central bank governor has already warned that the inflation is going to go further up in the next couple of months. So an uphill task for him and his government. He has actually, in his initial speech just after the victory, has mentioned that he wants all the government, like an all-party government, a multi-party government to be formed. He has invited all the parties to join hands with him to take the country out of this crisis. So very soon, once the prime minister is sworn in, we will see a team of cabinet ministers in place who will then shoulder this responsibility along with the president to provide some kind of relief to the people who have been suffering for the last so many months, and that has brought them out on the streets. It was a over 100-day-long protest, after which President Gotabaya Rajapaksa resigned, and a new dispensation is now going to take charge of the affairs of this country. Lindy.
And Ravinda, as you said, an uphill battle awaits the new president. But some don't think he's the right person for the job, saying that they will continue with anti-government protests. Tell us more about this. Why are some people still disgruntled at the new leadership, and what is the situation at the moment in the capital, Colombo?
Well, at the moment, it's quite calm. Yesterday, just after he was announced victorious, there were small protests which we saw at the protest site, which is in the center of Colombo. A lot of people had gathered there again, expressing their disappointment and anger once again, because there is a trust deficit as far as the leadership of this country is concerned. And apart from that, the protesters argue that Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe is a backdoor entrant, because he did not get the mandate of people during the elections. His party lost all the seats, and then he was nominated to the parliament. According to the vote percentage, his party got one seat to which he was nominated. So he is basically a nominated candidate who's not people's candidate. He does not have the mandate to take on this responsibility. That is one of their biggest arguments. And then second, they all blame Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe to be hand in glove with the Rajapaksas, whose regime these protesters have overthrown in the last 100 days. So they are angry. They still want to continue with the protests, but it looks a little difficult, because there is a large section of people now in Sri Lanka who believe that we should give some time to this new elected president and see how he steers the country out of this crisis. So we'll have to wait and watch if more protests happen in the next few days. But for now, I think protesters also rethinking their strategy. They are having their own meetings in their small groups, and to gather the kind of support that they managed to actually overthrow Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa will be a little challenge for them as well. But let's have a look, let's wait and watch as to what comes out. But definitely for now, protesters are a little quiet.